Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lora Rolling and this is part 6 of the Christmas lights ornament tutorial. This is the Christmas lights ornament that we are making. It is so cute with all its colorful bulbs and wreaths. And today we're going to be doing the unit called Blue Round Bulb. If you haven't seen parts 1 through 5 yet, that's okay. You can do these out of order. I'll have those videos listed down below in the description. That way when you're finished with this one, you can go and watch those. We just have a few materials to get ready, so let's get them listed and then we can get started. Let's go. The beads that we're going to use in today's video are all Miyuki Delicas. I have opaque delphinium, white pearl AB, opaque yellow AB, opaque dark cranberry, opaque chartreuse AB, and silver lined crystal. Just to keep it simple, I'm going to call this blue, white, yellow, red, light green, and silver. We're also going to need some beading thread and a beading needle. I like to use the Eslan Fire in the color crystal, and I have 4-pound thread. You can also use a 6-pound thread if that's what you have. And then I like to use a size 10 beading needle. If you only have a size 12, you could use that too. For implements, I like to use my long nose pliers to hold on to my thread at the end, and then I cut my thread with scissors. And then today I'm going to show you the fire method to end the tail, and that's in the beginning of this video. Alrighty, so that is the materials that we need. So go ahead and thread your needle with 3 feet of thread, and then we can get started. So I've threaded my needle, and now I'm going to pick up my first 3 beads, which are all blue. I'm going to take those 3 blue beads and I'm going to pull them down to the bottom of my thread, leaving about a 6-inch tail. Now I'm going to tie a square knot, which means I'm going to cross over on top and then pull my tail through. Then I'm going to cross over on top again and pull my tail through. Now I'm going to take my 2 fingers and I'm going to put them in the loop that has the beads, and I'm going to tighten up that top loop until it's a little knot. Now we have our tail, and I'm not going to touch it to the flame, but I am going to get it super close, and that will help it melt really quickly until it turns into this teensy little bead or little knot. Now I'm going to keep my 2 fingers in the loop that has the beads, and I'm going to pull on the long thread as I twist the loop until that little knot or bead at the end of the tail touches the long thread. Now I'm going to take that little knot and pull it down with my thumbnail all the way down to those 3 beads. I'm going to tug the knot over to one side so it looks like the thread is coming out of one of the beads. Now let's pick up 2 more blue beads. It looks like we're coming out of this bead, so we're going to sew through the next bead, the one that it doesn't look like it's coming out of. And I'm going to try to get them to sit right on top of each other, just like that. Now let's pick up 2 more blue beads. And we're coming out of this bead Let's sew through the next bead. Once again, making sure that our beads are sitting right on top of their buddies. Now let's pick up 2 more blue beads. And we're coming out of this bead. Let's sew through the next bead and also sew through its buddy, the one that's right under it. So we're sewing through 2 beads this time, which means that we are finished with row 2. And we are ready to start row number 3. Let's start row 3 with 2 silver beads and sew through the next. Now let's pick up 1 blue bead, and we're coming out of this bead. We're going to skip the bead that's set downward and we're going to sew through the bead that's popping up. That is our up bead. Now let's pick up 2 blue beads and sew through the next. Let's pick up 1 blue bead and sew through the up bead, the one that's poking up. Let's pick up 2 blue beads and sew through the next. And let's pick up 1 blue bead. And this is the last bead in this row. We're skipping the down button. We're the down bead. We're sewing through the up bead, and we're also sewing through the bead right under that one. Sewing through 2 beads means we're stepping up, and now we get to start row number 4. Let's start with 2 silver beads and sew through the next. 1 blue, sew through the up. 1 blue and sew through the up. I turn my work as I go, making it easier for me to sew. Let's pick up 2 blue beads and sew through the next. Let's pick up 1 blue bead and sew through the up. 1 blue bead and sew through the up. 2 blue beads, 1 blue and 1 blue. This is the last bead in this row, so let's skip the down, sew through the last 2 beads, and now we are in position to start row number 5. Let's start with 2 silver beads, 1 silver, 1 blue, 1 blue, 2 blue beads, 1 blue, 1 blue, 1 blue, 2 blue beads, 1 blue, 1 blue, and 1 silver. Sewing through the last 2 beads, and now we're ready to start row number 6. Let's start with 2 white beads, 1 silver, 1 blue, 1 blue, 1 blue, 2 blue beads, 1 blue, 1 blue, 1 blue, 1 blue, 2 blue beads, 1 blue, 1 blue, 1 blue, 1 silver. Sewing through the last 2 beads, and now we can start row number 7. Let's start with 2 white beads, 1 white, 1 white, 1 blue, 1 blue, 1 blue, 2 white beads, 1 blue, 1 blue, 1 blue, 1 blue, 1 blue, 2 white beads, 1 blue, 1 blue, 1 blue, 1 white, and 1 white. Sewing through the last 2 beads, And now we get to start row 8. Let's start with 2 white beads. One white, one light green, one white, one blue, one blue, one white, two white beads, one white, one blue, one blue, one blue, one blue, one white, two white, making sure that they sit correctly still. There we go. One white, one blue, one blue, one white, one light green, and one white. Sewing through the last 2 beads. And now we can start row number 9. Let's start with 2 white beads, one white, one white, one light green, one white, one white, one white, one white, one blue, and one white, one white, one white, one blue, one blue, one blue, one white, one white, two white beads, one white, one white, 1 white, 1 white, 1 light green, 1 white, and 1 red. Sewing through 2 beads. Oh, I only got through 1. There's 1, and there's the second one. And now we get to start row number 10. Let's start with 2 white beads. And just a little heads up, this whole row is all white. So I'm going to call them out just to keep it simple for you. But yeah, they're all white. One white, 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 two white beads, one white, 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 two white beads, one white, 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 and one white. I think that calls for a white emoji. Somebody put a white emoji in the comments. Everybody put a white emoji in the comments, whatever white one you want. My favorite white emoji is a cloud. But yeah, that was a lot of white, right? Okay, let's start row number 11 with 2 white beads, one white, one white, one white, one light green, one white, one white, 1 white, 1 white, 1 white, 2 white beads, 1 white, 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 2 white beads, 1 white, 1 white, 1 white, 1 white, 1 white, 1 light green, 1 white, 1 white, and 1 white. Sewing through 2 beads. And now we are ready to start row number 12. Let's start with 2 white beads, 1 white, 1 white, 1 white, 1 white, 1 light green, 1 white, 1 white, 1 white, 1 white, 1 white, 2 white beads, 1 white, 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 2 white beads, 1 white, 1 white, 1 white, 1 white, 1 white, 1 light green, 1 white, 1 white, 1 white, and 1 white. Sewing through 2 beads. And now we have completed our 12 rows of our triangle unit. Now, if this is the first triangle that you've ever done with me, I add connecting beads to some of the sides so that we can connect the units to each other. And in this particular unit, we are going to have connector beads on this side and on the bottom, but we aren't going to have connector beads on this side. So to start that, we need to cap the corners, or the first corner anyway. And so we're going to cap it by adding 1 light green bead to this corner, and it's going to turn it into a little point. And now let's add all white beads all the way down. So 1 white, 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 and 1 white. Now we are at this corner, so let's cap it off with 1 white bead, turning it into a point. And now let's add 1 white, 1 white, 1 white, 1 white, 1 yellow, 1 white, 1 white, 1 white, 1 white, 1 white, and 1 white. Now let's cap this corner with 1 white bead. And now what I like to do is turn my unit over, and we're coming out of this bead. Let's sew up without adding any more beads. Let's just sew up 6 beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're coming out of the top of this blue bead. I'm going to do what I call zigzagging. I'm going to sew down the bead right next to it, and then I'm going to sew up the bead right next to that one. And that makes this bead extra secure. So let's sew up 2 more beads. 1 and 2, hiding our thread as we go. And now let's zigzag again. We're coming out of the top of this bead. Let's sew down the bead right next to it and up the bead next to that one. Once again, let's sew up 2 beads. 1, 2. And now I feel that this bead is extra secure. It's not going to get loose or fall out. And so now we can cut our thread. Let's grab our thread with our long nose pliers and cut it with the scissors, getting as close to the bead as possible without cutting the bead, of course. And now you have completed your blue round bulb unit. Very cute. We only need 1 of these, so I will see you in a second. That was so much fun. Thank you so much for being here with me today and beading along with me. Remember to like and subscribe and hit that bell button so you're notified when the next video comes out. I can't wait to see you there. Thanks for watching.